Hello and welcome to Audiomotive. I'm Bizzle here with Dova.
Hello. Welcome to episode 3, right? Of this Audiomotive podcast. Thank everybody for dealing with episode 2 last week. I know we had some technical difficulties like we said before, but as promised, we did fix them with this go around, knock on wood. So let's press with episode 3. Take it away, Brian.
All right, so first thing this week, we've got a huge show for you. Lots of stuff to pack in for our Not Christmas episode. The first thing we want to lead off with...
Yeah, this is the Dova birthday episode.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Today is Dova's birthday.
All hail King Dove.
He's basically 80 now, so
yes.
He won't be with us much longer.
Yeah, probably not.
First things first, the Camaro 2017 Z01 convertible test mule has been caught testing. Motor Trends posted some pictures of it. There's not too much about the car yet. GM's playing the cards close to their vest with it. Possibly some info coming out soon with the auto shows coming up with the new year. What we do know is it's going to have the LT4 from the current Z06 and CTSV, which in my opinion, putting the LT4 in this chassis, well, it's already been in the CTSV is on the same chassis, just some changes made with the Camaro. But with how good the Camaro SS already is on the new Alpha platform, I think the new Z01 is just going to blow everything out of the water. Not, in this category. I think the GT350 that just came out, it's good, but I think this will best it a little bit. It's not as track-oriented, but it's going to convince a lot of people.
I don't know. So I'm going to play devil's advocate real quick. Okay, so this is what I do best. So Dova rolls up. He's got $90,000 on him. Duffel bag, black duffel bag money. Yeah. Okay. And I roll up to a Chevy dealership and I'm like, hey, I want a coupe.
Okay.
And I want some power in that coupe. And I can either get the LT4 in the ZL1 Camaro.
Yes.
Or I can get the LT4 in the Z06 Corvette. I'm all for it. So
you have $90,000. Like, you're already way beyond the Camaro.
Yes, but what do I get in the Corvette that I don't get in the Camaro besides the Corvette badge? And I know we don't have a lot of information on it, right? So I'm going to take this with a grain of salt, but just plant this seed in your head, okay?
Don't you mean what you get in a Camaro that you don't get in a Corvette?
No, I'm trying to figure out why. Okay, we know there's going to be a price difference, right? If there's not a price difference, it's stupid.
Because the last Z01 was what, like 55 to 60 grand?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So,
but I mean, even the CTS,
we can expect this one with the price jump to be like 65-ish, probably.
See, this is what confuses me, right? Because the Z06, the new Z06, starts out cheaper than the CTSV, and it has the same engine in it. But the CTSV has less horsepower due to whatever tuning or whatever the heck they want to call it than the Z06. But there's I want to say just off the head, I think there's like a $10,000 starting difference in base price. Now, granted, nobody's getting the base price because, like we mentioned a couple weeks ago, you're only going to get the wheels and the engine. That's all you want, though.
Yes.
But I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do, GM is going to do to make the ZL1 be, I don't know how I'm trying to say it. Basically, like I said before, what is the Z06 going to have that the ZL1...
So how to make the Z06 more attractive when sitting on the lot next to a ZL1?
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to do. You can say, oh, well, this is the most powerful Z06 ever, which is true. But on the same note, that's the most powerful Camaro ever, right?
See, I think GM's finally differentiated enough with the market of people that want, and I think they finally understand someone that wants a Corvette is going to get a Corvette. There's enough loyal Corvette buyers out there. Just the chassis, I think at the end of the day, the chassis alone, I mean, this Camaro is going to be great. I think it's going to be able to compete with, the M3, the C63,
M5, M6.
This is a true sports car. It's not just a muscle car anymore. And I think the Corvette, I think you would agree with me on this. I think the Corvette is basically at this point a budget supercar with how well it handles, especially in the higher trims.
Oh, I agree. It definitely is a budget supercar. But at the same point in time, unless they do something on kind of their production side, and we both know that they're producing the Z06 like it's going out of style. So that means they're going to have to overproduce the ZL1, which is not going to make it really special anymore, because we already know that they're going to produce the crap out of the Chevy SS. So I'm trying to figure out, somebody rolls up and they're like, Corvette owners are going to be Corvette owners, right? I know a dude I used to work with. He's always been a Corvette owner. Hasn't even looked. I think he bought a Camaro SS once and he hated it, right? When? I don't know. I know it wasn't recently because he's got a 2012 ZR1. But as somebody just kind of, which it might be a small percentage, I agree, that somebody just kind of rolls up and says, hey, I kind of want a powerful coupe. And they roll up to a Chevy dealership for whatever reason, which probably isn't going to happen, because if they want a powerful coupe, then they'll probably go somewhere else if they haven't done their homework. But they need to go to the bow tie if they have done their homework.
See, and my last point on this that I want to make is, like I said, I think they'll be different enough. I'm sure you've sat in a Corvette.
Yes.
You've sat in a Camaro.
Yes.
The difference, you see, you sat in a Camaro.
It is a different feel, right? Obviously, Corvettes are lower.
You sit on the ground in a Corvette. In a Camaro, you sit like a normal car.
And you can't see anything. Versus a Corvette, you can't.
I'm not even going to touch the visibility thing. I'm done.
It's horrible.
All right.
You can't touch it. It's so bad you can't touch it. It's
overblown. It's overblown.
It's fire ants. I don't know if it's overplayed, but it is an issue.
It's been improved in the new ones. Yes, the 5th gen could be difficult, but it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world, but at the end of the day, it sucks. So anyway, all right, moving on. So Nissan, as we both know, their Nissan Titan, pretty old. I think it came out in 04, 05.
Something like that.
Yeah, so it's ancient, and it hasn't really changed much, if any, since. So Nissan, for 2016, their XD pickup is getting, I think, 2 new engines.
Yes.
One is the 5-liter Cummins turbo diesel, which, you can't really go wrong with Cummins or Duramax, right? But I think Cummins pretty much is the diesel standard across the board. I know Toyota was talking about putting a Cummins diesel in their Tundra, and I think a smaller Cummins diesel in their smaller pickup, the Tacoma. I don't know if it's ever going to come to fruition in the Tacoma, but I know they were seriously contemplating it on the Tundra. I like the idea of having the 2 engines. I think that's something that Nissan has been missing for a while, because if you look at Chevy and Ford,
well, see, they've needed it, and as you know, I'm very familiar with trucks because I'm a secret redneck. And
redneck that likes Jay-Z.
Yes. So with Nissan, the Titan is kind of a bit bigger than most half tons. So it gets bigger than like the F-150, the Silverado 1500 Ram, but it's also going to be a little bit smaller than their full, like the heavy duty, like the 2500, the 250, whatnot.
Yeah, I think they were kind of trying to hit the middle ground since they didn't have more of a heavy duty.
Which is, I think it's a smart move on their part. It gives them a broader appeal. Someone like you or I could buy the truck just for some weekend hauling to tow our cars or whatever else.
Yep. And
then if someone wants it for a job site, they can get it, to work all the same. I'd like to see more diesels in the half tons. So right now, Nissan has it and Dodge has it. I want to see if Chevy and Ford follows it. And if Chevy was planning on one before the whole financial crisis happened.
Yeah. I like the idea of it. I'm always about having options. I will say I was looking at a Nissan Titan a couple years back when I thought I was going to move to Salt Lake City. I didn't move. But I really like the physical size of the Nissan Titan, and it was pretty roomy. And for, I think it was a 2005, it was fairly, decked out. It had rear view camera, and I think it had like Bluetooth, maybe. But doing my research on them prior to even looking into buying it, a lot of the reviews were saying how it was out. It had a higher tow capacity than anything else in its class. I don't think it had the most horsepower or anything in this class, but it had the most torque, I want to say, just going off of memory. So, I mean, like I said, they were pretty much hitting the middle ground of that half ton truck segment, right?
Yeah. So, but that V8, the same one that they had when the truck came out, carried on until just last year. So, in addition to this diesel that we just mentioned, Nissan's also got a brand new V8, regular gas powered V8. They're stuffing in the Titan.
Yeah. So they've got the regular gas powered V8. The XD is only going to have the turbo diesel, right? I think.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure how.
Or the XD was only going to have the turbo diesel as an option, maybe? I'm not sure how their loadout was going to be.
Yeah, what their option packages are. I haven't been able to look too much into the new 2016s.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but I think it's a good move. I know they're going to have a V6 option for the non-XD half ton. And all things being equal, I think it's like I said, a smart move. So yeah, good kudos to Nissan. I will say right now, I think Ford kind of has the features market, and I really like the Chevy / GMC. Not really a huge fan of Rams, but it did win the towing segment of Top Gear America when they had to tow a airplane, so it must be worth something. Okay.
Right, so the next thing we brought up to talk about, you brought this up, Dale, brought to my attention, the new Q50. The Nissan's sharing some info about, or Infinity's sharing some info about.
Oh yeah,
difference. Yeah,
basically the luxury Nissan, aka the artist formerly known as Infinity. So yeah, their G50 debuted with 2 engines, and one of them.
We only care about one of them, right?
Yeah, it's the one that makes 400 horsepower. Yeah. That's the only one that matters. So I've secretly been like a closet fan of Infinity for maybe like a year and a half, maybe 2 years now. I'm really digging their designs. The only thing that would stop me from buying an Infinity is it just doesn't have that sport track type feel to it. Like, it looks really good. It's really attractive. I would almost consider it like a version of, I think, like Anna Kournikova, the tennis player. Like, not that great at tennis, but all things being equal, fairly attractive and good features, I guess. So yeah, they're offering 2 new engines, which I've never really understood Nissan's engine deal, and this is why. So they had the 3.5 liter, right?
Yeah, the VQ35. That's one of their most famous engines.
Yeah, and then they had the 3.7 liter. Okay, so you boarded out 0.2 liters, called it a different engine, and now you have a Q50. So it seems like they almost got rid of their naming scheme, right?
Oh yeah, they changed their naming scheme. It was the guy that moved to Cadillac. The current CEO of Cadillac was in charge of Nissan or Infinity, and he changed their naming scheme up before he left. That's
right, just to come over to Cadillac and try to do the same thing. All right, so we don't want that in America. We want to keep our independence and separation from all this, but nevertheless, it seems like it's coming here anyway. But yeah, so I guess Nissan's going to have 3.0 liter turbo, which is going to have like 300 horsepower, and then they're going to have a Red Sport 400 that has the 400
at the top. It's same engine, just a higher spec model.
Yeah, Nissan confuses me. I hate places that have way too many options. Like, don't take me to so I went to Sheetz Ice Cream in Pennsylvania one time, and they had I'm going on a rant, and they had all these options for what you can have on your ice cream. I don't need all that. Like, give me vanilla ice cream, tell me I can throw some caramel or chocolate on it, and give me some sprinkles.
You are old as fuck.
And I'm good.
You are old.
I don't want a million options.
You are old.
If I have to make all these options to get a car,
you're old.
Then you know what? The price of the car should be cheaper because I'm doing half of the work.
We shouldn't have to suffer because old man Dove doesn't want to sit down and pick out what he wants.
No, I can pick out what I want. Okay. Hey, I want some leather. Right. I want this color, but don't make me have to go through 70 different engine packages just to get the horsepower I want. This is stupid.
So you should never, ever buy a Porsche.
I'm never going to buy a Porsche.
I mean, if I want you, I want to, we will record this at a later date, but we are going to record Dale going to Porsche's website and trying to spec out a car.
Yeah, we can do that when we have our in-residence recording, and we can actually video record me on my computer trying to pick out options in the car and how frustrated I get. Yeah, but I mean,
I don't know if our listeners know, but just so you know, Dale and I are in different states. Yes. Luckily, we will be able to get together New Year's Day for a couple of days.
Ish.
We'll do some recording for the podcast, of course, and we'll get a video Dale trying to pick out an option A Porsche on their website, which will be hilarious because Porsche has the worst website in the history of the world because they have 1 million options.
Let's get the fans involved in this, all like 7 of them.
Yes.
So I want the fans to comment on what Porsche they want me to try to option out and design. I'm interested in hearing your opinions. So go ahead and either comment below or go to our Facebook page and in the comments under this episode 3 of this podcast series, go ahead and comment on what Porsche you want me to option out, and whichever one gets the most comments, then that's the one I'll option out. And for funs and laughs, if I get bored again, I may option out the second winner. But anyway, back to the Q50. So
I think the top trim, it'll have a bit more power than the BMW 340. It'll have a bit more power than the Mercedes. It'll be a little less powerful than the CTS V Sport. It'll slot in there. I think it'll sell, but it wouldn't be my first choice. I would have to end up with the CTS V or the Mercedes before it.
Yeah, I agree. The BMW 340i I'm really indifferent on it. I don't care that it exists and I don't hate it. But the C450 and the CTS V Sport, great vehicles. I think they were getting I forget what they got when they ended up tuning the V Sport, but I think it's 420 stock.
Well, see, this confuses me too. Is I don't know why they compare the 340, the C450, and this Infiniti, and then they drop in the CTS V Sport, but I mean the V Sport's not even the same size.
So and it's not even in kind of the same.
It's not the same class. It'd be the ATS.
Class. Yeah, it would be more of an ATS.
So yeah, this is a wash.
Yeah, that's what kind of gets me about Car and Driver sometimes. They just kind of throw a hodgepodge of cars together, and because they're kind of alike.
I don't know if they're thinking the old CTS is between the size of a 5 Series and a 3 Series, so it got compared with both.
Yep.
The new one it's set. It's the size of a 5 Series. So I'm going to hold my full opinion on the Infiniti Q50 until we get to see some more reviews of it, see it driving around.
See some numbers. I want to see some 0 to 60 time.
I think it has potential.
I do too. I think it does have potential, and I think all Infinitis have had potential. They're more sport-oriented vehicles have had potential. They just never lived up to their full potential.
They've never really followed through with them, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, everybody was raving and roaring once they got the Nissan GTR because it was the Skyline, but before that, it was the Infiniti Q35. I think that was the best thing for the Skyline over in America. I forget what
the G35.
Yeah, the G35
and G37. The way Nissan did their chassis was technically the G35 and G37 were on a modified Skyline chassis. It's confusing. I can't keep up with how they did it all. Moving on from Infiniti, where we kind of beat that horse dead. As sure most of you know, Holden, as we know it now, is slated to die in 2017, as
Hooray!
well as basically all all Australian auto manufacturing is. So Ford, Australian manufacturing is dying. Toyota.
No, Ford's been dead. They've pulled out of, I think, as of early this year. Maybe they're pulling out first thing 16. I forget.
Everyone's pulling out, and it's just more expensive to manufacture there.
To save the kangaroos.
So everyone's cutting back from production. Everything's going to be imported. So this Belgian entrepreneur, Guido Damari, is actually hoping to buy the Holden plant, the Elizabeth plant, where GM's built most of its Zeta platform vehicles. The Chevy SS is currently built there. The Chevy Caprice that's used for law enforcement. Camaro, or not the Camaro SS, but the Pontiac G8 have been built there. The Holden Commodores have all been built there.
Yep.
So this guy's hoping to buy the plant He's hoping to buy the Zeta platform, which is, we've talked about it a bit before. The Zeta platform's a really nice platform. It's a great full-size rear-wheel drive platform. We both really like the G8s. But hopefully he's hoping to build but premium rear-wheel drive vehicles from that plant. This guy, he's got a history in automotive engineering. So I think it's going to be interesting. I really like the idea. One is keeping people employed. It's keeping the auto manufacturing industry alive in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, we both like the Zeta platform. I think it's offers a lot of potential. I'm guessing if he's using a GM platform, we'll probably end up using a GM engine, which I also like. So
yeah,
I'm really interested to see what he does. I'm hoping he comes up with something that will be able to be imported to the States.
So all the G8 and Chevy SS owners can continue to say that they have Australian vehicles.
Yeah, we need something that can live on with Australian badges.
Yeah, because everybody knows the Holden badge on your Chevy SS is really fooling people with any knowledge. But I mean, I like the idea. I can't really think of anybody in the modern time who's kind of been able to take their own money and kind of throw it behind the automotive company. I mean,
really?
I mean, who wasn't that one dude that tried to buy Saab, but they couldn't settle, and he didn't have enough money or something like that, or didn't have the manufacturing background?
That fell through. But
who?
We just talked about this the other week. We talked about electric cars the other week.
Yeah, but that's freaking
Tesla.
Elon Musk. The dude's a genius, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be
apparently a genius as well. He's been an automotive engineer for 33 years. He's a billionaire. I mean, he's basically like Elon Musk.
Yeah, but
maybe he's got a couple billion less.
I mean, I don't know if he's got the automotive vision. I think he's just he's an
automotive engineer, so I'm gonna see what he can do. And
I mean, I would like for it to work.
It's not like buying Saab. He's not buying
the DeLorean. The DeLorean who went bankrupt.
Yeah, Fisker went bankrupt.
Yes.
Pagani survived. They made something of themselves. Koenigsegg.
Yeah, I mean, okay,
like I said, he's not buying he's going to start his own brand, so it's not like he's trying to buy an existing company like Saab. He's just trying to buy the factory and buy the Zeta platform. Like I said, I'm interested. GM no longer, with the death of his Australian plant, GM's not really using the Zeta platform anymore. The Camaro's off of it. The Chevy SS and Chevy Caprice will be discontinued.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. More power to you, Guido.
Yeah, I mean, I want to buy a car by Guido, so.
Yeah, what is it going to call, like the Guido Mobile, or?
he's calling it Project Eric, basically. Eric, it's German. I took German in high school, but I forget.
Yeah, so, it's a dumb name for a car company, so you might want to put your billions behind some type of marketing or naming.
I'm sure he will find a name. So, moving on.
Come to DW. I got plenty of names. The Guido Mobile, the Dumeres, Audiomotive.
We here at Audiomotive are experts in naming things, so if you need any product's name, just hit us up. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll help you out. I mean, we named this podcast, or actually I named this podcast. Anyway.
You did name the podcast, yes, but I'm still brilliant with names. Moving on, before we get buried in that, another one of your wonderful topics that you brought to my attention, the new 2016 Audi R8 V10 Plus.
Oh, yeah. So I've always liked the Audi R8. I think it's always been a very good-looking vehicle. It's a supercar, no doubt about it. A baby Lambo that does Lambo things without a Lambo price by Lambo's parent company, Volkswagen.
So what do you think about the Audi TT RS that kind of looked like a Audi R8?
I think it's a cheap Audi R8.
So now we just
and it does not deserve to exist. So yes, I did contradict myself, but just look at the inside of the brand new Audi R8.
It's gorgeous.
It's an attractive place to be. I don't know if I would ever get tired. Like
it's
the navigation screen takes up the center console.
Brilliant.
Like the center cluster. Yeah.
It's a timeless design on the interior, I think. It's one of those things that it's not going to look gaudy in 5 to 10 years.
No, it's going to continue to look good. I mean, just how the buttons are set up, right? So you can, the push to start buttons in the lower right. And I really like when it was kind of in the center console or the center the center stack when it was by the gear shifter. But they kind of moved it to where it's more like a fighter jet type, I would say, type deal.
Anything that makes my car
a button instead of a flip.
Anything that makes my car feel like a fighter jet, I'm down for.
I know. right?
You look at the exterior of this Audi R8, it's evolutionary from the current generation, but it's
It's almost redesigned, but it's not. I don't know how to
you can
describe
still
it.
see the line. You still see the lines. You know it's an R8, but it's just so stunning. Everything about it is, to me, it's that fancy simplicity. It's very simple. There's nothing crazy about this design that tries to be out there, like a McLaren 570.
Yep.
It's swoopy and it's got ducks, and it's a good looking car. But this Audi is just so simply stated. It's understated. It's simple and elegant.
Yeah, it's like you just kind of saw it rolling down the street. I don't think any Joe Schmo would ever kind of think that it's up there with the Lambos and the Porsches. It's not. It doesn't scream like I'm higher class society than you than like a Ferrari. It's fairly subtle for, what it is. Don't get me wrong.
It's very subtle.
Riding down the street next to Chevy Cruises, it stands out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. It's very understated for a car that'll do 0 to 60 in 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, 2.7 seconds.
You can't even I can't fathom.
No, I can't even. It just went 0 to 60 in my time of stuttering. So I think one interesting thing about it is that Audi was working on the laser headlights.
Yes.
So it's going to be offered on this. They're just not legal in the U.S. So I think the U.S. obviously the U.S. is going to get a different version. So shame on the U.S. government for not letting Audi.
I was reading today about headlights because they interest me some way. And what I've been reading is that most of the U.S. regulations on headlights have been the same since the 60s. Which to me is ridiculous because the headlight technology in 1960 is so vastly different from the headlight technology today with LEDs, projectors, HIDs, xenon, etc. And then going forward, the laser headlights, the adaptive headlights, the matrix headlights. There's so much technology out there. We really need to update our...
Yeah, but this is what happens when government starts regulating things too much. Like we've said before, and like I've preached before, you start getting behind on technology, and technology is not able to advance because technology is going to keep advancing year after year after year after year, whether you like it or not. So either you can unregulate it and have overarching standards for distance and brightness as minimums, and as maybe maximums, because nobody wants to drive down the road being blinded by somebody's headlights.
Look at you, new Toyota Corollas. God, they're horrible.
Toyota. Those things are horrible. How are they that bright? I don't get it.
I don't know.
They're insane, but yeah. So we could press on, but the new Audi R8 V10 Plus is definitely a plus in my book.
We Audi, if you are listening, if you could please send us a press car, that would be wonderful.
It would be more than wonderful.
We'd like to give it an honest review.
A very honest review.
Fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced. Unlike Fox News.
Yes.
More
fair and balanced than Fox News. One last news topic we have before we get into our What Would You Do segment. Quick thing.
That was called You're the Boss.
What?
I thought we called it You're the Boss.
Yes, You're the Boss. We still need to officially name the segment. We'll work on that during our downtime this week. The new Chevy Malibu. We touched briefly on it last week, talking about the hybrid and how Dova hates it because it loses all its value. Motor Trend, Car and Driver, everybody's had the chance to drive the new 2-liter turbo version. Actually, both versions of the new 2016 Malibu, which we both agreed looks great, especially with
I don't know if I agree that it looked great.
Okay, you like the lines of it. You might not like the front end. You like the overall design.
Correct. I think the front end is ugly, and it looks like a Barracuda. I
think it would look a little bit better in person, but I definitely see where you're coming from with the top of the grille and the headlights. Yeah. But the rear end is great with the way the coupe-like lines, like your Audi A7 that you love so very much.
Yes. And I think the taillights look kind of stupid.
Yes. Everything.
Anyway, I'm done picking apart the new Chevy Malibu.
The new Chevy.
Except I think the last Malibu looked a lot better.
I disagree wholeheartedly.
Okay.
But regardless, so there's not much to talk about with it. It's your average family sedan. They've improved, the areas that had terrible. The last one had terrible rear legroom, and especially when it came out, it was way below where it should have been. This new one addresses most of those problems. It's feature packed, and the engines. The important things to us, of course, the chassis has lost weight. I think it's lost a little over 300 pounds, which is great. The engine actually making less power than it did before, but it's still quicker to 60. It's got decent fuel economy, 2233. It's bumped up from the last model. I think it's a great family car. I'm really interested to see what happens here soon when they do comparison tests between everything.
Yeah, I hope
But if I had
that
to buy,
they get rid of that stupid stop start.
yeah, everyone's doing it. It's terrible. I don't think it saves that much gas to really. I guess if you're in LA, maybe.
Yeah, while you're in traffic on the 405,
If
sitting there.
at least make it where you can disable it. Yeah, I said if I was out looking for a mid-size family sedan, this would probably be towards the top of my list. Luckily, I'm not. I'm gonna stick with the Charger.
That's sad. I'm sitting here looking at this picture of like the face on, and it is hideous to me. I don't understand what Chevy was thinking when they.
When you get one as a rental car, you can really give us a review.
That's true because we all know Dale White DW travels. So
they've gotten this. Like I said, the steering looks like it's been improved a lot. It's supposed to be a pretty competent handler. So hopefully.
It looks too much like the Camaro to me. And I call me crazy, but I don't think the Camaro looks all that great anyway. Yeah. But I do think it might look a little bit better in person.
Yes, so maybe this four-door car looks just like a Camaro.
The front of it looks like a Camaro to me. It's got these little squinty eye things going on, and it's got this LED shindig that I don't understand.
It's like a reverse Fu Manchu.
That's exactly what it is. It's a reverse Fu Manchu. Actually, I think it is a Fu Manchu because the Fu Manchu goes down, right? So they got this Fu Manchu LED package. Anyway, so
hopefully it's decent. We'll find out here soon. It can't be worse than the last Malibu rental you had when you came to Dayton. That was just offensive.
The last Malibu I had when I came. Oh,
the little 4-cylinder.
Yeah, the original, not the original Malibu,
like
but
the 2009.
Yeah,
that body style.
I mean, I had the newer Malibu that they just
08 or like 07 to 08 and up.
Oh, on our Right Pat late night after Fox and Hound pizza.
Yes, it was that time when that incident, that time happened. You had the Malibu with the 4-cylinder, and it was just hateful.
This is me. This is him.
Yes. Moving on.
Got it. Yes.
Moving on to We're the Boss.
So We're the Boss, not the What Would You Do segment. So how about you kick off? Yeah,
we'll find a name.
So how about you go ahead? We're going to do Jeep, right?
Yes, we'll start with Jeep.
So let me give the folks some back history on this. So last week we started a new segment. You're the boss. You're in charge.
We'll have a name next week when we finish it.
Yeah,
for Chrysler.
So we did Chrysler last week.
Well, we did Dodge last week.
No, we did Dodge last week. We're doing Chrysler Automotive Company.
We'll do Chrysler next week.
Wait, I'm saying we're doing Fiat Chrysler.
Oh yeah,
that's what we're doing right now for this week. Last week, this week, and next week. Maybe the week after that. I forget how many they have in the lineup. But anyway, so we did Dodge last week, right? And we're going to do Jeep this week. Current models, what we would change, what we like that they're doing, so on and so forth. So, Brian, go ahead and kick it off since you kicked it off last week.
All right. So, first things first. The Patriot and the Compass are dead. That's like as soon as I walk in the door on my first day, they're dead. No need. They're old. Dodge has been putting on updating / cutting them / merging them into one. They're holdovers from the late 2000s. For the financial crisis, and I don't think they really have a place in the modern Jeep lineup that I plan on creating. The new Grand Cherokee, love it, keep it how it is. Yeah, I love everything they're doing with it, really. With the SRT8 model and the upcoming Trackhawk model with a Hellcat engine, ludicrous, and I love it. The Wrangler, I like it how it is. It's a Jeep Wrangler. If you change it too much, you piss off everybody. Keep it simple. I think right now it has a good balance of being ready to go off-road and for the soccer moms that want to buy an SUV.
Quote, unquote.
Yeah. Oh, the biggest thing I do with it, find a way to put a diesel engine in it. People have been wanting a diesel in the Wrangler forever. So give them a diesel, especially if those off-roaders will buy them up. The Renegade, I'm kind of split on it. I see why they need it, and they've at least gone out of their way to make it somewhat capable for some mild, soft off-roading. But at the same time, it's just, it helps out with the cafe regulations. It helps get some younger people into Jeep. I'm okay with it. There's really not too much I'd change with it. I haven't really researched it too much. Just, I can't love it. I don't love it. But make sure, my biggest thing would put a nice hot engine in it, give it a bit of a sportier, SRT version, because why not SRT all the things? The new Cherokee, I would burn it down and start over. Have you had a new Cherokee as a rental? You driven one?
I have. It's not horrible, but it's not great either. I'm really indifferent on it.
I've seen so many complaints about it as well. Just
not that
build
tight
quality,
of, steering. If it's kind of it almost seems not well put together.
Yeah, there's been so many problems. People that I've read online having so many issues where it's basically a lemon. I hate the design of it. I hate the way that they've made it so the grill bends with the hood. That's so dumb to me. I don't know why. It doesn't match anything else. It doesn't match their lineup at all.
It's almost like they went to go, hey, we're selling the company to the Japanese, and then the Japanese get a hold of it, design, and they're like, hey, just kidding, but we're keeping the designs.
It's like, that is like, hey, I like the Nissan Juke. Let's make a car that looks like a Nissan Juke.
Yeah, that's a horrible idea.
If you go to Jeep's webpage and you just go to Jeep.com, you'll see a picture of their lineup right now. You look at the Compass and the Wrangler, the Grand Cherokee, the Renegade, the Patriot, and the Cherokee. They all share similar stuff, but then you really look at them, and the Cherokee just stands out. With the headlights, it doesn't have, it has its weird headlight shape to begin with, but it doesn't look like a Jeep. So I would scrap it. I would want to build something more along the Grand Cherokee. The Grand Cherokee is a crossover.
Yep.
But it's still able to be decent off-road, or fairly good.
Really decent off-road.
Yeah, especially decent off-road. I would want to downsize that chassis, put the Cherokee on that, make it look a bit more like the Grand Cherokee, make it capable of off-road. The old Cherokee, I love the old Cherokee. They're not.
Yeah, I don't understand why they didn't do the same thing. Have a Grand Cherokee and the old Cherokee, or a Cherokee, and kind of make the Cherokee a little bit more off-road specific, and the Grand Cherokee be kind of more of a luxury off-road, but it's still extremely off-road capable.
Exactly.
Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, they really missed the market. There's so many people out there driving the older Cherokee that just love it. It's a fun, plucky little car. It's real fun off road. It just goes. It keeps going and going. It's not that powerful. I mean, let's be honest, it's an old Jeep. But it's got some soul to it. It's fun. And then I'd like to add a model or two. I want to add a truck back to Jeep. A popular conversion for Jeep has been people taking the Wrangler, they go to an aftermarket supplier, and they turn their Jeep Wrangler into a pickup. I think it's brilliant. I like the way it looks. I think Jeep needs to just sell it out of the factory. And I don't know, add some new engines to the Wrangler too. I don't know if you've heard about this, Dale, but every year there's a huge Jeep meetup on Moab. And every year Jeep brings
only Moab I know is the mother of all bombs.
What?
Only Moab I know is the mother of all bombs.
This is Moab, I think, Utah, California, whatever. It's out west. It's a rock climbing area, trail, off-road trail.
Oh, okay, yeah, I heard that.
Jeep sends several concepts out to the meetup out there of Jeep owners every year, and every now and then they'll send a Wrangler that's got a Hemi in it. They've had had them with a 5.7, a 6.4. They need to make that. They've sent the trucks out there. The Wrangler trucks out there. They've sent so many cool concepts out to Moab. They just need to follow through with one of them. So if I was in charge of Jeep, I'd make sure to at least to put a Hemi in a Jeep Wrangler, because that would just be fun. And then two, to give Jeep a pickup truck.
Yeah, like the Jeep Scrambler. Wasn't the Jeep Scrambler
it would fill the role. It wouldn't compete with the Ram. It'd be like Dakota size. It'd be a mid-sized truck.
Yeah, that's what the Jeep Scrambler was in 83, I think, or 82 or something like that.
And then
they had the Jeep Scrambler. And
they had the Comanche at one point as well. I think it was one of the 90s. They had the Comanche, kind of loosely like the Cherokee at the time.
Yep.
So that's about all I do with Jeep. Nothing radical to the brand. The Grand Cherokee and the Wrangler are, really the two things. If Jeep just sold that, I would have no problem. Overall, I like Jeep. Like I said, Compass and Patriot are just getting old. The new Cherokee's ugly, terrible, needs to it needs a facelift. It needed a facelift the second they revealed it. And then the Renegade, it's not bad for what it is, but I wouldn't buy one. But yeah, there's not too much I'd change about it. So go ahead, Dale. Let's
DW's turn.
Yes.
All right. DW steps in as CEO of Jeep, or vice president, whatever the title is, and I'm automatically killing the Renegade, the Compass, and the Patriot right off bat. Okay. Why? Because I don't see the difference between either one of them. They're both small kind of Jeep vehicles, so either we have one of them and kill the other two, or we kill all three of them and come out with something else that's smaller, or we take the not the Compass, but the Cherokee and turn it into a mini Grand Cherokee that is more focused on off-roading, and give it a similar engine package. So we're talking about a small four-cylinder, maybe a V6, and leave it at that. The Jeep Grand Cherokee, I'm like you. I love what they're doing with it. I loved it ever since it first came. The newer body style first came out. I think it looks great, and they've done nothing but improve the looks. And they've been hitting it head on the nail on the head.
There you go.
The Jeep Grand Cherokee. There we go. The SRT8 model. I've been contemplating on one of those.
You've been wanting one, haven't you?
Yeah, I really have been wanting one of them. Never pulled a ticket to get one, but nevertheless, I see them. I like them. Great performance. Not too bad gas mileage since they put the 8-speed automatic in there. Great. The Jeep Wrangler, part of me says kill the Wrangler, but Jeep would never sell anything else if they do.
You might as well kill Jeep at that point. You'd piss off everybody.
Yeah, that's true, but I think the steps they've made to kind of make it modernized kind of looks goofy because it still has kind of an old school look to it. I mean, seeing a Jeep Wrangler with freaking LED headlight, daytime running lights, kind of weird. So, I mean, I don't think it looks horrible, but I definitely would try to kind of update the overall look of it. And that's probably the only thing that I would do. That's all I've got for Jeep. I think they obviously have a cornerstone in the market, right?
Yeah.
I think they're trying to slowly expand into the more luxury SUVs like they did with the Grand Cherokee. But they're missing on the Compass and the Patriot. Also bring back the Commander. I think it's a dope vehicle, and just the simple name of a Jeep Commander sounds like it is legit.
It does sound extremely badass.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's a good car. I do think they need something like the Cherokee to slot in underneath that to give you that off-roading in a slightly more
economical price.
Yeah, to give you that off-road ability, that and something a bit more comfortable than a Jeep. Something you can take on a road trip. Yes, you can road trip in a Jeep. No, it will not be your most comfortable road trip. If you want
a Wrangler?
Yeah, like a Jeep Wrangler. I'm not going to take a road trip in a Jeep Wrangler unless I have to. I'd rather, have something a bit more refined.
Yeah.
So
a bit more luxurious.
So that wraps up this segment of We're the Boss. Next week we'll cover Chrysler. It's not really a huge lineup, so that segment will be quick. Next week we might throw in Alfa or Maserati. Both of those are under FCA. So we've got a couple more companies to wrap up before we conclude our FCA segment of We're the Boss, and then we'll take a break for a couple weeks, and then we'll start on another automaker to take control of.
Yep. So kind of a couple things I wanted to hit again in the car segment. I don't know what else you have that you want to talk about, but the new Jaguar XJ had a really good first drive review. It looks great. It's a Jag.
Loved the XJ.
Especially the XJL because it's so long.
Ooh.
I saw one in downtown Milwaukee. It was white one day, and it took like a good 40 seconds to turn the corner because it was that long.
See, I sat in a white XJL the other day at a CarMax. It made me want to make a terrible financial decision because, oh my gosh, it's so long. Two, it's just so premium on the inside. So premium.
Yeah, it's crazy premium. And the 2016s look so disgusting.
Oh.
Like, they look so great.
Jaguar, if you'd like to send us a test car, we would greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and you might not get it back.
Please make sure it's a long wheelbase with the tray tables in the back seat.
Yes.
Yes, we need tray tables.
Yeah. The XJLR, if you have one, if you want to
Basically,
make
the
one,
biggest engine you can stuff in it.
Yeah,
We'll
supercharged at
borrow
5
it.
liter.
We need that for a long-term review.
Yeah, by long term we mean at least like 2 years.
2 years, and then we'll get a new long-term XJ.
Yeah, so I thought it was kind of interesting in the article they were talking about how Jag's not getting the sales that kind of Mercedes, like they kind of fall behind the Mercedes S-Class, obviously, and the 7 Series. But
I think it's a hard market to break into. Cadillacs have the same problems.
It's so wrapped around the Mercedes and BMW as being if you look at a luxury vehicle in that size, or really in general, if you look at a luxury vehicle, you're looking at a Mercedes or a BMW. Yeah. You're not really looking at anything else. I mean, they're pretty comparable in performance, and I mean they're cheaper. I think the range says the base range price is 75.3 to 10, basically, or 122. So I mean, I know that's cheaper than a S65 AMG.
Yeah, well, everything's cheaper than an S65 AMG. Let's be honest.
I think you could buy a C17 for cheaper than what a S65 AMG cost.
Yeah,
you can buy a Maybach for cheaper than an X65 AMG. Yeah, so I think the new Jaguar looks good, and it's got pretty good reviews. So if I can ever get my dirty little hands on one, then I'll be more than happy to. I guess Porsche has changed the name of their Boxer and the Cayman.
This is this is great. I mean, this is perfect for our Porsche segment that we're going to do soon with the options. They just make everything more confusing.
It is. Perfect for when we take Porsche, you're the boss, or we're the boss now, and we change this because it's stupid. So you have you change the lineup to where all the clowns with a Boxer are Cayman. Now, if you have a Boxer, then you are above a Cayman. When it used to be you had a Cayman, you were above a Boxer. Yes. And then you change it to the 718. So you have a 718 Cayman and the 718 Boxer. So as competitive douches.
You'll get lovely names for them, like, oh yes, I drive a Porsche 718 Cayman GTS. Like, motherfucker, why does the name have to be that long? No name needs to be that long.
It's longer than the XJL. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
So it was just something I was reading. That's a couple weeks old. That's just something I was reading I thought was interesting. And another interesting article out of the New York Daily News. A ban on gas-powered cars is coming in 8 states in the U.S.
That's bullshit.
That's stupid. I think California is going to be the first one because, as much as I love California and L.A., it's kind of hippie-ish.
They're saying they want to do it by 2050. I just think it's politicians wanting to be like, "Yay! Look how progressive we are." It'll never happen.
I mean, let's be honest. The oil companies own the United States, like the tobacco companies have. So, in my personal opinion, but by 2050, it'd be kind of difficult to do. But I guess like Rhode Island, California, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, Oregon, and Vermont are those states. And I guess California has their zero emissions vehicle mission by 2050. I can't say it's a horrible thought. No. I don't think it'll ever happen, but knowing surely how many people are in California and how many people are in LA, like they're emitting a lot of emissions. So I think there's a different way to tackle this than totally banning. Like, how can you ban a vehicle in the state? Think about it. For instance, how many military bases are there in California? So you're going to ban these vehicles?
Oh, let me go on my cross-country road trip.
Let me not go to California because my vehicle's not allowed.
Well, yeah, it's like, you can't go to California. Oh, am I not able to drive through Iowa now? Am I not able to drive through wherever? It's
almost like concealed carry. You can't take a loaded gun through the state of Chicago. So you have to, even though you have a concealed carry license that is accepted by Illinois or whatever, once you get into Chicago, you got to take all the ammo out, take the magazine, put it in it's ridiculous.
I think the gas car ban it'll never happen until electric cars are ubiquitous. like I said, it's just posturing. It's just people wanting to be progressive.
Yeah, and I don't think electric cars are going to be where they need to be by 2050. But, I mean, they might be. Elon Musk is a genius.
Yes. So that's I don't have anything else. Is that the you have anything else, Dale?
No, I don't have any, except the fact that, Chad Johnson decided that he was going to drop $25,000 on a smart car to pimp it out, which I think is dumb. But I mean, hey, if he's got money after not playing in the NFL for X amount of years and after headbutting his fiance,
he played in the CFL, so for like a year.
So he's rolling in all those Canadian dough.
Oh, that monopoly money, that
healthcare.
Yeah. So this wraps up our third episode of Audiomotive.
Third episode of Audiomotive in the books.
Next week, we're not going to be having an episode next week with the New Year's. Too many people are going to be out celebrating on New Year's Eve to be able to listen to a show, and we'll be getting together shortly thereafter. So we'll be able to put some better, more cohesive content out, put some videos and pictures with it.
We might even have a twofer for you the week after that.
We'll make sure you still get your same level of Audiomotive content. It might just come a week later, and it will be exciting for sure because we'll be in the same room recording instead of across the country. It can only go well.
It can only go well. Last thing. So yesterday, about this time for my birthday, I watched the World's Greatest Drag Race. They had the CTSV, the Z06, the ATSV. They had like 8 cars in there. It was wonderful. So if you get a chance, go to the Audiomotive page. We'll paste a link there and go ahead and watch that. It's kind of comical because they had a Miata in it, and obviously it came in.
Did they give it a head start?
Yeah, well, I think it took a head start. It wasn't given; it was taken.
Gotcha.
So yeah. Anyway, I think this wraps up the third episode of Audiomotive, our best yet. We only plan to get better and fix these technical glitches that we keep having. Hopefully, it's seamless for you all when you hear the final draft. So let's call it an evening.
That's it. That's a wrap.